You plug in with the man in charge. That's something you don't sabotage.
This is how you raise the bar.
Raise the roof like a demigod. Keep making your moves while the devil's watch.
This is how you raise the bar.
Don't build your label on a deck of cards, claiming you stable but don't affect the charts. This is how you raise the bar. We ain't phased by y'all. Straight talk, we don't fake for the faints of heart.
You don't know who goes first, and I'm just
Uvele
looking at
ungazi
you.
ukuthi
I'm
sikhiphe
like,
face vele ngathi ngangabalo hayi manje usazama ucabanga ukuthi manje soqala kanjani sokhiphani but anyways hlela uqale Khosi asidome
asikaqali kahle.
Ufuna ama-stinger.
Yeah,
Ungena nje
yeah.
straight with
come
ama-stinger.
on Khosi
Hey man, like camera shy of his sardine.
Tempe kanje
Yo, it's Raise the Bar, the Oddcast. We up in a new spot like level 10. Yeah, we're leveling up.
yeah my
Raising
left
the
hand
bar.
boy my left hand
It's a level yabo zawe. That's like game number level amaning.
Sure.
Number level amaning.
my left hand
Yeah,
my
so,
left
so
hand
we're on that, and we got my co-host before I even talk about the special guest in the building. Yeah,
Imina ke lo yabo ungacabanga ukuthi kanjani but anyway yeah man we're back with another episode otherwise still raising the bar South Coast hip hop and namhlanje siphethe one of the people who worked the hardest kodwa manje nina mhlawumbe nimazi manje kodwa nizomazi nomsebenzi wakhe nizowazi otherwise you can introduce yourself my brother.
Sanibonani. I'm very proud of you guys for watching this actually.
Yeah,
Like
big
first-
up, big
before
up,
we
big
get
up,
introduced,
big up, big up, big up, big up,
Very
big
proud
up,
of
big
you
up,
guys
big
for
up.
watching
Clap it up for
this.
you.
Igama lami Ufezekile. Yeah, and I'm just a person who's just trying to work hard for the industry. Yeah, and I'm the CEO of a company called Honest Decibels Entertainment Group. Oh, water. Yay.
Ngiyasebenza la sayona.
No, I appreciate that. I'm gonna need that.
Ngiyasebenza la sayona.
Yeah, no, so I think amanzi ayadingakala. Stay hydrated.
Please get us glasses.
Yeah.
Funa sishaya icilongo la sayona. Funa sishaya icilongo. Wait, not sayona.
But yeah,
So,
no,
yeah,
Impela, I just appreciate it that everyone tuned in. I appreciate it more. Yabo Vegeta, like,
Sure.
honestly, for just having me here and just to be able to speak about what we're gonna speak about today.
We appreciate you for coming through, bro. We appreciate you for coming through. Because, you know, abantu abake-field la mfethu, it's rare for them to show their faces, you know?
Yeah.
They just work hard, and then thina sibona i-product ekugcineni, yabo?
Yeah.
Without actually knowing what goes behind into getting the product out there.
Yeah.
And from what we spoke about outside, it really like shows ukuthi uyasebenza, bro. Uyasebenza, and we appreciate that ukuthi you came from another part of another part of Kwenza, yabo. And that was another journey. Nakhona sazofuneka usixoxele ngayo because
Yeah, no,
it's very
definitely.
interesting, yabo. So yeah, man. Yeah, appreciate you for coming through.
Thank you.
So you guys keep on speaking about what he does and whatnot. So to the people that don't know, what do you do that we speak of? What is it that you do? Obviously, it has something to do with hip hop. That's why we're gonna raise the bar.
Yeah.
But yours expands beyond just hip hop.
Yeah.
Because the reason why Talente says it, there's so much mystery around the fetus. Let's put I'll be like, yo, this special field, dog, yo, nah, because it's unorthodox for people our age or even our race to go into that field.
Yeah.
About like publishing.
Yeah.
You as an artist or you as a
Now we can
entrepreneur.
definitely start with where I'm at right now because it is a field where we. Oh.
Okay, you tell us to pause.
Yeah, but like
Yes, sir.
it's very important because you know, it's important for people to understand ukuthi it's an industry where we still get looked at as like with the question in the eyes of a lot of the execs that you always constantly negotiating with, like, who the hell is this young kid with this much audacity? You know what I mean? Like there are many big publishing houses that I've had to negotiate with, and I've sat with them, and they've always given me that look like J. Cole says it best in Cole Sideline Stories. Fuck, what song is it? Where he's like, he loves to see how white people always wonder, like, how the fuck did he
He
get
get
money? You know what I
yeah.
mean? How the
Mm.
fuck, with all the obstacles, how the fuck
Yeah.
did he make it? You know what I mean?
Because I'm red tape maningi, bro.
Yeah. So
Maningi, maningi.
yeah, being in the like publishing was not my dream growing up. I'm not gonna lie. Publishing, management, administration, all that stuff. That was never my goal.
Sure.
Like even when I started going into music, it was never my vision, my goal. I always wanted to be a signed musician. Sorry, I was always um, grooming myself to be that signed musician.
Mm.
And I think I just got tired of empty promises. There were so many massive labels that at one point were interested and then it would never come through.
Mm.
You get what I mean?
Mm.
So
Mm.
then after a while, it was just like me and my producer, who was my homeboy since like Cape Town.
Sure.
We then decided to be like, you know what, fuck it. Why don't we just publish ourselves? Why don't we learn what it takes? And then when we started, obviously we still were basically fooling ourselves, acting as if we knew, what we were doing, but it was just like, yo, like we didn't know shit. I am very confident right now that I know what I'm doing because I've noticed even with the biggest execs at the biggest publishing houses, they constantly learning, and
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
that gave me that confidence of being like, oh shit, okay, so then that means I'm doing the right thing because I'm constantly learning as well. But I already know so much to be able to help ABC. Like,
Mm.
I don't think we
Ungasabi
we are one of
ukusondela first.
yeah we
Ungasabi. Ungasikhompyutha nepiano la emva kwethu kushubile.
nah, no stress. So we like one of, I'd say, SA music's biggest secrets right now,
Sure.
and this year I genuinely believe it's we getting to the point where people are going to know us because we've got now clubs, some of the biggest clubs in Gauteng and KZN, looking at our music and wanting, yo, dog, like, that's there's this one club, I can't mention it right now, but like there's this one club, we played them our music. These DJs, they were like, and all the DJs were there because they were preparing for the this big ass night, like, these promotion
Sure. Sure.
nights, Mkhudu Mondays, and all that shit. And all of them, they heard it. They heard the music playing in the club, and they were all just like, "Yo, please send me the music through the flash." I was like, "Nah," because I know Uguti, if these DJs get it, they're gonna always play it, and then our guys, they're never gonna get a chance to DJ their own
Mm.
songs.
Mm.
You know what I
Mm.
mean? So next thing they become those DJs
Who
who's
plays another DJ's music?
yeah,
Ekubeni wabo lo mculo
exactly. So
odlalwayo.
I was telling them that no, you guys have to first give our guys a chance to play their own songs, and then once they've played their own songs in your club, then your DJs can have
Sure. Sure.
the music to play on their sets as well. But it can't be that your DJs are the ones that are leaking the songs
Mm.
just because they've got hype, because that's how you kill the sound.
Yeah.
Hip
Yeah.
hop
Yeah.
has found itself in this situation that it finds itself purely because, as much as a lot of hype was generated through the mixtape era, the one flop that the mixtape era had was that rappers always felt that they needed a cosign. So you
Mm.
needed a
Mm.
DJ
Mm.
drama, you needed a DJ Envy or a DJ whatever. Here it was rest in peace, but DJ Dimples or whatever to be the ones to introduce you. And
Yeah.
because of that, it kind of created a culture of gatekeeping. So, we're trying to break that as a publishing house where it's like, no, these guys have created their own music and these guys are getting paid actually better than your well known
Yeah.
musicians, and they're not even known. So, who the hell are you to tell them this? You know what I mean? I'm never going to walk into an accountant's office and be like, hey, yo, dog, let me check your books.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, why are you coming to me just because you're known, telling me, Uguti, hey yo, dog, let us play your music so then
Mm.
you can get
Mm. Mm.
famous and then you guys can get money. Dog, we're getting money. So
Lento esivele siyifunayo. Lento
you know what I
siyifunayo.
mean? We're
It's
getting
the
money.
fortune before the fame, bro.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. So for us, it's not we've done it in reverse, where it's like let's get the business right first. Let's make sure that people are able to get their children shoes. They can get eat baby powder for their kids. They can get purity for their kids. They can get the woman food. Their moms. They can fix up the house for them. Shit like that, and then work in reverse, and then start chasing the fame
Sure.
if you still want it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the musicians that I've realized is that a lot of musicians have come to us and they actually really enjoy their job. They
Yeah.
really enjoy being a secretary somewhere, or they enjoy being a teacher, a school teacher, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they don't want the fame. They just want the expression to be able to make their money because it's a talent. And that's what we do as a company. We've been able to find an avenue in the industry that no one else ever looks at, and we've been able to capitalize on it and actually have real talent working in that specific area of music, whereas everyone is chasing this 98% um, of the industry, which only has about 5% of the money anyway in the industry, which is the mainstream. Whereas we have basically, for an analogy, have gone straight to the source.
Sure.
And you know what I mean, where it's like this industry is funded by something, and there's a reason why it's being funded by this, and they require what we do, and that's why we've been able to grow at the rate we've been able to grow as a company. In the public eye, we people would probably be like, "Ah, these guys are nobody," until
Vele
they
vele
start
until
seeing.
kufuneka baqale bakubone unyaka kwama-credits, and then
Yeah,
they start
until
noticing ukuthi ubalo ubalo,
yeah.
then bayakusearcha, and then emva kwaloko sebeyakwazi,
Mm.
yabo.
Exactly. Until they see actually in credits of certain things or certain projects and certain companies, and they actually dig deep, and then they're like, "Oh shit, these guys actually
Yeah.
they work.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of work, like, and they're quiet about it, and that's what we like about it because that's why we call ourselves honest decibels. You know what I mean? The best sound is silence. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's the most honest one because that's the one where you're able to then dig deep into your mind and actually be able to see what it is you want to express
Sure.
instead of just making ruckus, you know what I mean, and just noise for the sake of attention. You get what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, I think the one thing in Bongo Tiko for is like putting me through many struggles. As much as I come from a very healthy family in the sense of
Sure.
like not having to struggle in my younger years and all that stuff, when it was time for like to be an adult, like I thank the Lord that He did expose me to the other side of actually understanding struggle, real struggle that people live 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years with, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And that we just blow over, you know what I mean? Because we've never experienced it. And I thank Him that I was able to live it, for the 2, 3 years. Because in that 2, 3 years, you get so much exposure and so many ideas, and that's why we've been able to, as a company, be able to tap into those areas as well. Because I saw it firsthand, where it's like, damn, like the one advantage of our poverty is it makes you fucking creative. You know what
Yeah.
I
You
mean?
gotta find creative ways around it, bro. Yeah.
That shit makes you
So
fucking
far.
creative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and also being able to understand other resources has also been able to make me then look into how do you then monetize on that creativity
Yeah.
for these people? How do I teach them how to monetize their creativity? You know what I mean? So I'll even give one tip, for example, like for anyone who actually does want to go the exec route. The biggest blessing we did for ourselves, not that we were given by the universe and Utiko, but the biggest blessing that we did as a company for ourselves was last year we dropped all the artists, right? All the artists, and then we told the artists, you guys can re-sign if you guys have your own label. We'll teach you how to do your own label,
Sure.
but we're no longer publishing individual artists. We're publishing now labels. You
Sure.
guys need to be your own bosses. You guys need to go find your own talent. You guys need to go and do your own books. We'll give you all the facilities to be able to learn these things, but we're not gonna have people who are just sitting there waiting for their moment and complaining and be like, they're delaying my release, this, that, because that shit is not gonna give me anything except for headaches. You know what I mean? And phone calls at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yo, dog, is this release ready yet? Nah.
Yabo. Yabo.
You know what I mean? So, whereas with the label, you're constantly thinking and you're always on your toes and you always know, Guti, you know what? If Ufezekile can't keep up with my ambitions and my dreams, I can always sign to another distributor because I have my own label and my own team now, and that then makes us work because I'm always going to be on the board. Like I'm, as I said,
We
like
are
dog,
span.
like
Yeah.
Gaspar,
That's
like
fine.
I don't have time for all like I go work. I shower twice a day in the morning and once I'm done with everything. Everyone else that meets me, and I'm the same way. Whether you're CEO of, let's call it,
Let's say so.
yeah, let's say Sony
Just
or
change.
Universal or whatever. Uzohlangana nami the same way as umtshito wami ulinge or when a Kuss or when a talent.
Sure.
Nah, you. If I'm dirty, I'm dirty. If I'm clean, I'm clean. But all you know, Spani. I just came from
Sure.
Spani. I'm coming. I'm going into Spani again.
Okay. That was a lot
That was a
to
Sorry.
unpack
mouthful.
there. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, well,
the queen.
okay, we'll all take it a sip. I'm not gonna but yes.
Ah, intense alive, intense alive.
Yeah, well, so like, okay, bro, you sound so passionate. Like that's why I'm just like listening here, like just as you unpack this whole
Sure.
thing. And okay, before I even go and down deeper into what you just unpacked, I just want to find out the start,
Okay.
like who you are as a person, like how you fell in love with the music. Then it's weird at that because like I'm so intrigued with everything that you've been unpacking. But angifuna ukuyimention because ungene kuyona ngifuna siye lapho ekuqaleni nje
Alright.
ukuthi how did it all kick off?
Well, music has always been in my blood, like, so I'm just gonna skip through a lot of things, like in
Mm.
speech quickly. So I was born into a very musical and creative family. So my father has a funeral parlor, for example, um, but he used to write scripts that were published before he went into the funeral business. You know what I mean? So I didn't even know this until I'd already gone into music, but I was just like, oh, that explains so much for why we're such a creative family as well. You know what I mean? Because we were always raised around music, like there
So
was,
you're dead nice.
huh?
So yeah.
Killing it.
So yeah, like in the modern, like, so, and there wasn't a moment where we didn't have music
Sure.
playing in the background. You know what I mean? We grew up with music, just Elton John's, Kaifa Semenya, etc., Oringo, Dolly Parton, like
Mm.
all styles of music, Queen, all that stuff playing. And from there, I was always writing music as well. As much as it was very much forbidden to be looking in music and all that stuff, it was like a sin and all that stuff. But like I always used to sneak writing and all that stuff. And every chance I got in primary school, um, in high school to do raps,
Sure.
I did it. Like as part of this group called New Breath. There was Umchieta, Usti, Matt Dope. It was myself, Washington. I'm forgetting a member. I'm so
Ha.
sorry to you.
Ha,
I'm so
ha,
so
ha,
so
ha,
sorry
ha,
to
He
you.
was not that good.
Ha.
I'm so-
Forget him. Do
Ah.
better.
Remember
um,
Chande.
yeah, but it was very short lived. But Abachite, they were able to record. The day I was supposed to go to record, my mom found out. She tore the papers
Why was it forbidden?
because my uncle. That's the other thing I forgot to skip through with vocally. My uncle, he works still deep into the industry. Like yo man, like his company has been like running a lot of KZN music. They do the Durban Jazz Festival and all that stuff. So he got to see firsthand how artists are and the struggles they go through and in Lala and all that stuff and the dead and
Mm.
um just drugs and all and alcohol, and so they were just like, we don't want you in this space where it's like this. So all of us were being groomed for other things.
Kodwa mawucabanga if I went to gospel would it have like been the same thing? If let's say it wasn't the hip hop, because now hip hop has this thing wabazali ukuthi
The stigma to it.
yeah, well, yeah, ukuthi hey, the European in drugs and stuff like that. So if for instance you were doing gospel, do you think like the parents' perspective at that time would have been different?
I think so because my sister she sang a lot of gospel, and they were like, nah. So she ended up being an accountant. I think she wanted to be an accountant anyway, but they were just like, nah. Anyway, so I think it still would have been the same for myself anyway. So from what do you call it? The person who opened up the doors really for my creativity to flourish was my other sister. You know what I mean? Because she was just like, "Yo, I'm gonna become a movie director. I'm gonna." Be, she was actually wanted to be an actress even, and she had to compromise herself
Mm.
and be like, "Nah, I'm gonna learn fine directing then." You know what I mean? Because directors get jobs instead of actresses who, because in their minds, like, oh, actresses are gonna get kissed by every guy and you get sex scenes and all. So they were just like, nah. So then she was like, okay, fine, I'll direct those sex scenes.
How bad?
so
Like,
myself, after seeing that, I was just like, I don't have to then go the route of having to be some doctor or some geologist to make them happy. I
sure.
can at least compromise. What's my second favorite thing? Sports. All right, cool. Let me go study sports. Studied sports, Cape Town. After that, went into coaching. Um, coaching, I coached quite high up in the ranks. I worked
Oh, but
briefly.
just for coach Han.
Yeah,
Because I
briefly.
might I just hit ball. I was ha ha
No, no, no.
ha ha.
Paul and I had a stint there with the Arrows for like a month. Though.
Oh, what?
That didn't work out though.
Well, Shala go.
No, I was an intern
Oh,
coach.
coach. Hi,
I was
bo.
an intern coach there.
You should have coached
Um,
What?
Bafana Bafana.
huh?
You should have coached Bafana Bafana.
I
Ngiyafuna
was an
kwizami.
intern coach in
Awucabanga ukuthi
Lamontville.
Pirates manje kushobile. Ayi.
There's no chance there. Yeah, so Mangoba Ngqethi was a mentor for like a month there while
Oh,
he was
wow.
coach there in the Sean Bartlett. After the, but like my actual first like coaching job. I was at Western Province Rugby Union. I was a development coach in Athlone there. So we were developing some high quality players, players that are now wearing green and gold. For example, others are wearing blue and white. Others are wearing black and white, etc. If you know the color coding of
Sure.
teams,
Sure.
orange and
I just
white,
know
and
black and white and green.
Ngiyababona cheaters lapha mfethu. Ngiyabona ama
yeah.
Sharks,
So
yabo, nama Blues.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So
How do you guys keep up with all the sports talk?
Hey,
Okay,
man.
sports,
fine.
bro. Sports is
Mawujita
just
wenza
like
kanjani
music,
bese
bro.
sports
It's
bese oh,
expression.
yeah.
It's
Amen.
expression, dog. So yeah. I left, started my own shit. We then started doing development coaching in Cape Town. We
Sure.
were at about 52 schools at our peak. Um, but I still just wasn't happy, and music actually found its way to me because now I was independent, and obviously my mama can't tell me shit no. So I saw a mic
Sounds like Tony
and
Dwayne.
Pizzo
Sure.
always goes back to South Coast. Upizo, who's from South Coast,
Mm.
he had this song called "Let It Be Easy." It's still a favorite of mine, and I was just like, I reached out to him because we were prefects together at Shepi, and I was just like, bro, that song, who recorded it? And he was like, no, I recorded it. And I was like, yo, dog, please just record me. There's a song I wrote. Please just record me. I've got this hook, the verse, I'll write it.
Sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I wrote it, and it was called The Motive. And then after that, there was no turning back. I just started working with like so many different cats in Cape Town. Um, had a lot of beefs as well with a lot of famous people right now. I'm still blocked. I'm sorry, Dumi. I'm sorry, youngster.
That's
I'm
just
really
the way
sorry.
it goes.
I was just young. I was young.
Hey, thanks. Those are corn. Those
you
are
know,
corn.
I'm sorry, Kuli.
Yo. Ah,
Swag
Moshi.
stick him.
Ah, Moshi.
So, yeah, I think they didn't have a beef. I had the beef. They were just like, oh, blocked. So, yeah, like I started working with a lot of cats. Like there was a company called Sussex Music, where we were recording there. That was the first label that I basically worked with, and then from there, that's when the promises started coming in of like, yo, You keep going at this rate, we're gonna end up signing you. These were some big. These were some of the biggest like hip hop labels at that time. 2016, 2017. You do the math. For legal reasons, I'm not gonna mention. Um, and from there, I took that leap of faith and I moved to Joburg. Right, I left the job, the, the career I had built for myself, and I left
The coaching career.
the coaching career.
Sure.
And I went to Joburg. Joburg, um, it was hard to find coaching jobs in the beginning. So to be able to sustain the life, luckily I had a cousin who took me in. He had just started a logistics company, which is now doing super well over there. I started working trucks, not driving them, not sitting on the side,
Hey,
at the back.
okay, okay. Now you know the first thing that I heard. I misheard you there. I heard drugs, and I'm like,
Mm-mm.
what?
Nah,
Trucks,
nah,
trucks.
nah.
Okay.
I'm a track.
I'm a track.
I am
I'm
a track.
I'm
Why not drive? I'm a track.
no.
Wasebenza wama-truck.
Yeah. So I worked trucks. So we used to take like on a daily. I'm a pellets. Like these are like those 16, 18 wheelers.
Hayi kwagoba iqolo straight.
Yeah,
Yes,
full
sir.
packed, taking him to places like Spa, Woolworths, whatever. Not Woolworths, sorry, Spa. Uh, these little small ass Afrikaans stores that need flour for their cook sisters and their fed cooks and all that shit that need beans to stock them up. So we used to carry that shit. A lot of these places didn't have basicness like forklifts, bro. Like you were still working like a fucking slave. Like
Hayi
pallets,
kwagoba
you'd have
iqolo.
to stand in that truck, offload, chuck it to other guy. He catches it. You go. The other guy catches. So I was the guy catching.
Cause vele
Cause I was the new incoming guy. So it's just
bengithi
like
sihamba nani rugby ngoba phela
nah,
niyathwalana.
nah, nah.
Oh.
Because it was a situation where it's like, oh, you're the boss's brother, ne? Yeah, no, tell your brother Uguti over here in the truck. Me and
Shubi.
Abu boss.
Hey,
Yeah,
sir.
so it was that kind of situation where I was just like, okay, I don't mind this because really, no one wants to be identified as benefiting just because and it taught me a lot of valuable things because I got to interact with a lot of people who I now interact with, funny enough, because I live in an area where a lot of these places, so I shop at some of these places that I used to go deliver to, where I used to have some racist ass general managers fucking and I go there and I shop and I give them shit, so it's pretty dope. And they're like, Mr. Dumisa, so sorry. Like it's actually quite funny. But yeah, and then from there, that I was able to then save enough for us to be able to start this publishing company. Because once again, me and my producer at that time, we both were just like, yo, let's just publish ourselves and we'll figure it out. So we saved enough. I saved enough, and we started this company. And then we just started going, and we just signed any artist that was interested at that time. And a lot of them were SoundCloud artists because at that time it was SoundCloud Valley, that was the thing. And we were just going with the flow, trying everything, learning everything. A lot of songs didn't get released because we were realizing how sampling was like sample clearances worked and how expensive it could get because it's literally the Wild West.
Yeah.
Like you could use 1 second of a song and I could tell you it's so valuable to me. You need to pay me 200K.
Yeah.
And when
No matter
someone
60%.
exactly, you know what I mean. So it starts becoming a thing of like, I don't want to play this game of enticing people. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, it taught me a lot. Then I did a project, the two projects back to back, like a week apart. One was called Christian Ballon d'Or. The other one was called Fubu, for you, um, by us, for you by us. So this was on SoundCloud. I think they've taken it down. So over there, I was rapping. I didn't even notice it, but I was rapping about just home here at South Coast because I used to hate this place, bro. Like I used to hate it. I
Why,
used
bro?
to hate how people knew me. I used to hate how I was associated before I was even known. You know what I mean? So I was Banban's son, or I was Banban's brother, or I was Banban. No one ever really knew me because I was to myself. You know what I mean? So, so because of that, I always hated the relationship I had with people
Sure.
when I was here because it was just like, who am I? So I had to go through this whole whirlwind of trying to understand who I was, and music was the only thing that was able to express my thoughts. I still didn't know who I was at such an old age. You get what I mean? Like, well, it's not old. I was 27, 20, 26 actually at that time. So, and then anyway, so after listening to the project once I released it, I just realized that, yo, dog, I've been yearning for home, for a new relationship with home. You know what I mean? So I decided to leave because we had started the company. My business partner at the time was pissed the fuck off because he was just like, yo, dog, like, this is where the industry's at. Like, what the fuck? And then I came here and I started forming new relationships all over again with sometimes even with the same people I've had a relationship with forever, but it was a new relationship because now it was a relationship of like, hey, dog, how you doing? You know what I mean? Not what can I do for you or what can you do for me? It was like, yo, how are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, just chilling. And then from there, I discovered so many cool, creative human beings. And I was able to actually start learning how to express myself, understanding myself, knowing myself. And that started translating into the work. So much so that now we're getting to where we are.
Yeah, man.
Where in 2020, we were able to get the first break. Luckily, it came back once again, South Coast, but now not just South Coast, inside the household. You know what I mean? It was an opportunity where I was able to meet, I was ready to meet an opportunity where, you know, my sister who had opened the door for me to be able to create, allow myself to leave a little bit of creativity for my sanity by just making the simple choice of going into directing. Now it came full circle where she had a production of her own on Netflix and they were looking for music and she was just chatting to me about this thing and I was just like, yo, like we actually have really honest music right now. It's not the music that, you know, where we were still at before, you know, because everyone was still just like, oh, this is so cute, this is so nice. You know that, oh, so
Imnandi
cute,
lento yenu.
imnandi lento, yes, no mdlalo wenu, whatever.
Sure.
And then but like now it was starting to become something of real substance and she heard it because at first I think also in the back of her mind she probably was just but then when she heard the songs she instantly fell in love with a couple of them and most of them came from South Coast.
Sure.
You know what I mean? People who I've known my whole life and they got songs in there. We started off with 4 songs in there, and then after that, were able to start working with different entities. You know what I mean, and start
Okay.
growing that brand. Yeah.
Okay. You just said a Netflix production. You're not saying what Netflix production.
And
Let people know. Let
Let
people
them
know.
know.
It was Blood and Water. So
Mm.
yeah, top 10 blood Netflix show.
One of the favorites. One of the
So,
favorites.
yeah,
Yeah.
one of the biggest shows of all time on Netflix is
Sure.
a South Coast product, guys, and it had a lot of South Coast music in it.
Like abantu abayazi lo nto uthi direct umuntu wala. Yabo, they don't know
They don't know
that,
it was
bro.
written, produced,
Sure.
and directed. Obviously,
Cabang.
there was a team.
There's
Shout
a
out to
team, yeah,
Travis
yeah.
as well. Shout out to Simon. Shout out to Benji. You know, Benjamin. Shout out to the whole Gambit team.
Yeah,
Like,
man,
but
yeah.
like
And
at the core,
bahlanganisile blind.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the
Blind,
core
bro.
of it, you know, that's a show that we can put there and be like, yo, guys,
That's South Coast.
this is
South
us
Coast
to
very
the
own.
world,
Yeah, bro.
literally
Yeah.
to the world. You know.
So the cats you worked with, bro, that
Um,
ended up.
Yeah, so that's Kaz Uzugile. So Kaz, he had 2 songs actually there. Yeah, he had 2 songs. Adley, he's not from the South Coast. He's from Malawi. He was another artist of ours that was um, put on the show. TM, he was on the show. He's from Joburg. But then we also had Snake Beats, the productions.
Aware.
You know what I mean? On the show. Season 2, we doubled that up. We had not even doubled it up. We had a lot. We had about 10 to 12 songs. on
Wow.
there. I just can't remember the exact number. Snake, he had a couple beats and songs. There's a song called Falling that I wrote, Atley sang, and it's Snake Beats
Snake on the
song.
production. Yeah.
It's his song. You know what I mean? That was on the show. It was a critical moment in season two.
Mm.
Kaz once again was season two. Myself, I found my song finally.
Oh, where?
Yeah.
How where? How where? How
just
where?
to sh-
How where?
just to show you that like it was all about the work because I mean my songs weren't in season one
Yeah. Yeah.
because I can admit they weren't good enough. You
Yeah.
know, at that time. Season two definitely were.
Word, bro.
They
Word, bro.
definitely were. You
Word.
get what I mean? And should there be a season three? Guaranteed.
Because
Because
of
I'm not gonna
Anteba,
say if there
obvious.
is or if there's not, but guaranteed. All I'm saying
Yeah,
is
Something
well,
is gonna make it there because
guaranteed
at
yeah.
the
there
rate
will
that
be a
you're
lot.
cooking, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just that we worked with that show. We worked with Rhythm City. We worked with alcohol brands that I know that okay I should not mention because of the type of deals we have there.
Mm.
We've worked on other TV productions as well, adverts.
Mm,
We've worked a lot. We do a lot of songwriting, a lot of mixing
mm,
for artists. We do a lot of beat creation for artists. There are so many. That's why we say. That's why I said earlier on that whole thing of like the best sound and the most honest sound is silence.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because it creates so many opportunities just to work because a lot of the industry right now is a hush hush industry where they want people to look at them as an all
Mm.
rounder.
Mm.
Or I wrote this song, I mixed this, I did
mm,
this, I did this, I did.
mm,
I'm a,
I'm everything.
I'm
Sure.
everything. I'm
Sure.
God.
mm,
And because to keep that, in order to sell their image and to keep that persona, you know what I mean? They need people that they can be able to trust and be like, you know what, these guys are not going to say shit as long as we just
Mm.
paying them to do
mm,
what they need to do, and we cool with that because Tina, we can write like
with that.
bro, like I was telling you outside, like we do 5 tracks a day,
Mm,
Mm.
high quality
mm,
tracks, like high fucking quality tracks. This year, next year, in 2024, guaranteed, we all over the airwaves starting end of this month.
mm,
Guaranteed, we already have people who are already popping up on Josiah, the Disciples album, already featuring them before they've even released singles with us.
Mm.
We've already got people who are popping up on TV channels. People don't know that these people are signed to us
Mm.
because we they don't need to know that
mm,
because it's about them. You
Mm.
get what I mean? And that's the best way to work. It's about
Mm.
building something for someone else and then let them speak about it when they're ready to speak about it
Yeah.
or speak about it on Raise the Bar.
mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
you're not down.
Speak
You're
about
not
it on
down.
Raise the Bar.
You're not down. A small issue. A small issue. A
You
small
get what I
issue.
mean?
So when you talk about signed, bro, because
Mm.
a lot of like ngizothini? Angifuni ukuthi amajita because even the girls are into this. You know? So a lot of us as an artist or ake ngithi ama-artist we say okay umuntu usenenkampani kanje kanje and then there are your friends like duze you're like ya ungaphansi kwami ungaphansi kwami ungaphansi kwami yabo without really understanding what goes into
Into
signing
signing, yeah.
yabo. So when you speak signing, like can you go deeper into it ukuthi how your work in terms when you say now you've signed
Yeah.
yabo. From then sipana kanjani?
Okay, so before,
Sure.
when we first started it, it was very similar to
Sure.
how you described, where we got everyone that we knew. We were just like, yo, we signed. Obviously, we had contracts. That was the only difference, which gave us that leverage to be able to start working or whatever,
Mm.
which because the contract became gold, I
Sure.
guess, at that
Sure.
period of time. But now, when we sign, when we're talking about signing, we're talking about empowering. So we obviously offer two different contracts: management or distribution, or both,
Sure.
right? But we don't offer it to the individual artists. We go to you and we say, we're very interested in you as a musician, but we're also more interested in you and what your contribution will be into the industry that we're trying to redefine.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, therefore, are you interested in creating your own label or joining a label that is already working with us, and here's the paperwork around how everything's going to work? You get lion's share. percentages. We don't own your masters. Because we don't care. You the label. The label needs to deal with how they deal with their masters. Whether they want to give their artists masters, which we always encourage, or not, that's their prerogative. That's got my masters or someone else's. You know what I mean? I'm my own songwriter. What do I need your song ownership for? You know what I mean? I've never needed a handout in my life. I've always enjoyed them, but I've never needed them or asked for them. You know what I mean? So if it's not something that's on the table, I don't look at it because it doesn't belong to me. So that's how we approach it. So they will sign, we start empowering. We start giving them facilities to shoot. We start giving them facilities to record. We start giving them facilities to start working with other artists inside the network. So we're constantly growing. So at some point, we will have, um, as I said, our aim radio waves, not radio in the sense of like radio, but like I mean being the industry. You know, we'll have a lot of the most listened to musicians, you know what I mean, in that current space of time. And these people will have access to these people because it's a network of of growth and collaboration in a safe space, which is the umbrella of Honest Decibels Entertainment Group. You know what I mean? So that is what we do. So we empower, we educate. It goes back to that sporting background that I come from, where it's development. Because the more you develop, the more industry heads you have that you know in the net in your network. You know what I mean? You don't want. I spend so much time. I spend so much time. If I'm not spending time on the phone, on the road, or with the artist, or with my wife, I spend so much time once again, as I've already said, with the artists. So you don't want, and you only as powerful and only as progressive as the people around you. So you don't want people who one day you will be able to have a power trip and perceive it as you're beneath me. You want people who you can always constantly be like, these guys are powerful. And these are my friends. You know what I mean? And these are people that I work with. You know what I mean? These are people I help and who help me. You know what I mean? A power circle, yes. So that's how we look at it, where it's just like we just want people to constantly grow because the more of people who grow, who we know, then the better our network is. It's a stronger chain. You know what I mean? It's a much stronger chain, and that's what we want.
Built on loyalty,
Yeah.
bro.
It's such a well-rounded story because when you went on like at first and you went on a tangent explaining like the whole thing what you do.
Not a
Awubona
tangent.
umuntu
Hey
okhuluma
man,
kakhulu
hey man,
awumboni umuntu
hey
okhuluma
yeah
kakhulu
yeah,
nawe.
hey ukhulumeni
Uyambona umuntu
mfana,
okhuluma kakhulu
ukhulumeni
nawe, kuyasho.
mfana, hey bro.
Awumboni umuntu okhuluma kakhulu
So like now when you look at what he was saying and he explains like his parents' fears, what his uncle had seen in the industry, his sister's decision to how to sort of like, okay, y'all want me to do this, this is how I'll reposition myself
Yeah.
in this space. It the coaching background,
Yeah, bro.
everything links to who you are and what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful, like when you just like unpacking it now and you're like, whoa, okay. So this is where the coaching and the development links
Comes
in
in,
with
yeah.
how you're working with the artist. Okay, I saw that artists die hungry. And the major issue is always the publishing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
never the sales.
yeah,
They can give
yeah.
you the
Yeah, they
sales
can
because they're
always
gonna
give you
run
the-
out.
Yeah.
It's the publish.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the publishing. That's the long money.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, let's work
And
with you on
iyona le
that.
iyona le mfethu, to a lot of artists it seems so secretive.
Yeah,
But it seems so secretive, and at the same time it's so important.
yeah,
Because even after years you die, le ashandes still exists.
Yeah.
Isaphila,
Yeah.
it's imali yakho
Yeah.
nani nani. But now, futhi when you go back and look at ama publishing deals akuqala,
Mm.
yo, they were brutal, bro.
yeah,
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
brutal. Like, e-publishing house would take about 64%.
Yeah.
And what are you left with?
Mm.
Because kulo 27%, there's still a company esazothatha yayo, i-distribution ezothatha yayo, and whoever uzothatha yakhe. So how is the publishing game changing now? Is
No.
it changing?
No.
If it's changing?
The only change I see is literally around the companies that like us, like like a T Effect. I don't know them too well, but it seems like their camp is happy. Um, I forgot the one that Durban Gogo was signed to, Uncle Waffles, the Creative Corner,
Sure.
um,
Yeah.
a Creative Corner, and ACA. Um, those guys, they blew my mind. How they were just so ready to work, and Orchid, you know what I mean, as well, like how they were ready to work. These are people that are supposed to be competition, you know what I mean? Like black owned publishing houses. But they're just so keen and to work and collaborate and be warm, to you. I don't know the business beside behind them because as I said, I'm getting down. If
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
if it's not on the table for me, it's not for me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I don't know their business, but the way they've always interacted with me, um, it was so warm and it kind of encouraged us that we're in the right track, we're going in the right direction, especially since a lot of the musicians are the musicians that are right now popping, the nasties, you know what I mean? The actors like Pearl Tusis, these are people that are signed to those management companies like ACA and all that stuff. They popping. So the industry is starting to become more fighting for that peace and collaboration and love and
And openness.
happiness and all that stuff. But obviously, there's still that huge element of just like fuck you, like that element
Yeah.
from a huge percentage of the market because I'm just gonna be frank, it's not black.
Yeah.
And it's not, bro.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
black.
not, bro.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And because of that, they're working on a different aspect, and it's not. It has nothing to do with color. I think it just has everything to do with
Yep.
understanding and protecting
Yeah.
privilege in a fleeting and ever changing industry. So, as I said, I learned how to be creative, properly creative, when I went through struggle. So umuntu who doesn't go through struggle and has privilege, they whole time like they struggle to let go and trust, to let go and let God because they've found their avenue and they're just like, yo, I'm gonna milk this fucking cow till this cow dies. You know what I mean? And not thinking about, yo, this cow has many uses and this cow can give birth to many more cows if I just let go. You know what I mean? And I might struggle for milk for a couple of weeks because I let this cow, just go and live. But there will be more milk coming around the corner because this thing is gonna come back with more
Sure.
calves. You know what I mean? So that kind of concept. So that's still gonna take some time. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why when we entered the industry, we first entered with the whole concept of just like, yo, um, these guys don't really need us, and we don't really need them. So let's just be honest. I feel that my work is worth this much, and it's been quantified by XYZ, which is proof, and therefore I've come to this figure. And that's how we work. But in the beginning, we're even like, even if our work is X amount, no matter what, every artist that signs to us is always going to get 80%, right? And we're always going to take 20. That's how we started to introduce ourselves, to show people that really we're not here to fuck people over. And then when they got to see us work, then we started having real conversations with everyone, and everyone agreed. And they were just like, "Yeah, you know what? We've seen that you guys are genuinely who you guys say you guys are. You guys aren't here to take us for a ride and milk us as much as you can and then leave. You guys are actually here to nurture us and grow us and help us grow, etc., etc., etc." So after that, we started having the individual conversations. This is obviously before we dropped all the artists and then told them come back with your labels. You know what I mean? If you guys are interested to continue working. And then when we started doing that, then we started.
Index on the
Sorry.
side
So then when we
effect.
started doing that, we started then having more partnership kind of relationship with these labels now because these labels now we are doing a lot of things for them, but at the same time, we don't want to lock them in for a long term contract to quantify our investment. So let's quantify it for this period of time, and then from there on in, it's always subject to review every 12 months.
Sure.
As the company is growing, then we're able to then adjust, and we have to adjust fairly. You get what I mean? If they're already coming in with everything and all they need is just distribution, then what the fuck are we taking a high percentage for? Let's take that small ass percentage. That's how we've also approached management, for example. We understand that not everyone is able to pay for a manager. So, yeah, cool. We will then have certain exceptions where we'll then fund it and then we'll work it a deal like that. But a lot of people that we're dealing with now are people who are making money. As I said, our, our artists make money. So these are people who are making money. So we like, let's give them a package where, so our cheapest package will be the up and coming package where it's 1.5 a month. It's a subscription. This is what you get. This. These are the services. These are the people you have access to, etc. Like to help you with your brand. So it's a PR, this, that, whatever. Next package 2.5, etc. All the way up to 20. And as um those packages go up, the percentage goes all the way. There's the one package where we end up taking about like I think 2 or 3% because they're already paying
So
for
phethe
the
yonke into,
overheads.
sure.
Because that's the reason why companies charge so much
Yeah.
because they're paying so much overheads and they want to be greedy afterwards. They're like, yo, damn, I was spending so long, 2 years. I'm fucking getting all my shit and more. Whereas, yeah, it's like you're already paying for your shit. You just don't know how to
To
work
maneuver,
to
yeah.
maneuver. So we're gonna maneuver it for you, and you're already paying for your shit. So our percentage is very small, and that's all just because of labor. Like Tandy Somas. I don't. Let me just watch Netflix. Let me read a book. You know what I mean? There's never been rise as well. You know what I mean? Which coincided with South Africa's hip hop movement as well. The to be careful and not allow that shit to happen. Otherwise, it's going to it's going to be a repeat. You know, of the same shit. You know, it's been the same shit for a long time in South Africa, and then people say that South African listeners aren't loyal. Yeah, they're not because it's like government in the sense where it's just like you're just feeding them whatever and then you're expecting them to be happy with it. And
Yeah.
it's just like fuck you. And then you still want to be praised for your mediocrity. You know what I mean? You're not thinking fresh out of the box. You're not creating something of your own. You know what I mean? Like the one guy in hip hop in the last 2 years, and rest in peace to him. You know what I mean? Someone that I didn't know. I'm talking about one guy that I didn't know. Personally, like that would be Ricky. You know what I mean? Because he was fresh in his thoughts. He was like, I like Amapiano, I like hip hop, but I don't want to do something that isn't pure to myself. So let me slow down these fucking piano beats and let me actually rap on them, but like let me ride them in respect to the sound as well. But also at the same time, I'm not gonna also disrespect myself by not
Yeah. Yeah.
spitting.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And we now know why he really had that urge for expression. But it's very important to be able to express yourself
Yeah.
and not feel
Yeah.
trapped and trying to make a buck just to just fit in. You get what I mean? And it's very important to be able to do that. And that's why I'm saying, Wuti, like, yeah, we should be spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should. But in our spoiled for choiceness, I'm gonna coin that. We need to be able to also accept Oguti. Not everything that comes to us is of high quality.
Yeah.
And it's your prerogative if you want something of high quality or if you want something of low quality. I have a little brother who listens to all the worst shit in terms of production. Not in terms of like sound or creativity, but like in just production. It's just fucked up production. Like even Pop Smoke, like it's like over reverbed and all that. But like they love it. And that's why it's rising because it's pure to them. You know what I mean? It's like reggae. Reggae to a traditional music listener at that time was just what the fuck is this? Because the guitar is delayed. It's just like what the fuck.
The drum is not. It's not in the pocket. Yeah.
It's not in the
Sure.
pockets. You get what I mean? So sometimes, yeah, these things they bring out beauty, but not if everyone is doing it at the same time because now you're riding on someone else's creativity. And that's what I'm saying about being spoiled for choice doesn't necessarily mean you want the same shit.
Yeah.
If I was gonna have Coke for the rest of my life and that was the only thing I could ever drink, I would be fucking mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, on the lighter side, yo, bro, you speak a lot about how work and you work really hard. Like, what do you do for fun? Like, what do you do when you're
I
kicking
work.
that? You work for fun.
No, like as in like
I thought I
my
worked,
work.
but hey, when you, hey, nah.
No, I mean my work is the shit I love. So
Yeah.
even for fun, I love making music. So,
Sure.
but like if we're talking about like what do I do for leisure, I travel with my wife. Whatever chance we get, traveling doesn't necessarily mean now you have to go there and there. Like, yeah, we get to experience
Yeah.
our country, we get to experience um, our city, we get to experience my home, South Coast, get to experience parts that we never got to experience or that we've never experienced or in ways that we've never experienced before. You know what I mean? And we're just constantly learning ourselves. I love learning about myself more and more and more because man, some people have a head start on me. You know what I mean? Like if learning yourself was an age, I probably would be 4 years old. You know what I mean? So, like, I love learning about myself, bro. Like,
How you a hip hop guy that's married? Like you're supposed to be for the
Kuss
bitches and for the
kanjani?
whole. No, I'm asking. Like you
Shuza
know,
kushada
Gutsipela,
bro.
that's the whole vibe our culture pushes. With
Oh,
what the hoes
ngiyakuyela
had. They
mfethu.
were like, when,
Uyayibona-ke lento engangisho please. Ngiyakutshela wena. But
nah,
it's
like,
cool.
man, I love my wife, man. Like,
Asifani sonke no-Kuss guys, asifani
yeah,
sonke.
like,
I don't know what these niggas are trying to insinuate, but I was just asking. You know,
yeah,
with
no,
the,
I get you asking.
yeah.
Nah, like, I don't know. I don't really compare myself. There's a song that I played for you guys outside that
Sure.
I recently wrote where that one is the one where I'm like, is this who I am becoming?
Oh
And
yeah,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah.
line
Yeah,
where I
you're
go,
becoming?
yeah,
Sure.
and there's that line where I say, Uguti, rappers, all the, all the rappers want to fit in. You know what I mean? Every rapper wants to fit in. I've never had that. That was me analyzing the game in comparison to myself. And the last time I ever wanted to fit in was in matric in order for me to be someone besides Ban's brother, Ban's son, Ban's whatever. So let me fit into the crowd so I'm just part of the crowd and not in. After that, it was just a thing of like, who am I? And then the next stage from there on in, it was, okay, so this is who I am, this is who I'm becoming, this is who I was, knowing myself. You know what I mean? And because of that, I've never had the ambition to want to um like have these bitches or women, you know what I mean, or have like I'm a very honest human being. Like I don't mind speaking truth at any moment, no matter how it makes me seem in that moment. So for example, I'm gonna even say it right now. For example, for most of my adult life, out of choice, I was a virgin. For most of my adult life, there were many opportunities, even in varsity, where there was an opportunity where it was just like, hey yo, this girl's in my room, she's naked, she's ready. And I'm just like, nah, but like I'm your friend, I don't want that shit. You know what I mean? Why are you doing this? Kind of shit. Because I was still trying to learn myself and it's like, how am I going to impose my whole DNA in you? A DNA that's confused that I don't even understand just yet, and then expect you to be able to understand me from there on in. And what does that do to our friendship? And from there on in, that was one of the key critical moments where I was able to understand who I am. Where it's just like I actually don't care about um, women like that. You know what I mean? I care about spending. I met my wife in varsity. She was a huge friend at that time, and I used to tell people, "Yo, that's my girlfriend." And people used to think I meant in the current moment. And I was just like, no, no, no. Like I meant it in the future. I knew Guti. We both had a lot of life to have, but I knew that I was just like, and Gembela, as life happened, it happened. You get what I mean? And she became, now she's my wife. You know what I mean?
Big ups, man. Big ups.
So
Big ups, man.
that's how,
Kuyashadwa Kuss.
you know
Yekani
what I mean?
ngidlala ngey'ngane zabantu. Hey Nkosi yami kuyashadwa
Hey
Kuss.
man,
So
hey
that's how
man.
I've
Oh, hey.
so that's how I've
I
always
know what they're
approached
talking
life,
about.
where it's just like dog like me, I'm gonna daba about to Ban is doing what. I've always done things that I've always felt like I want to be able to experience for my damn self, not because someone else is doing something else. Because Kokala Los Banbani is they are they still gonna be my friend in 10 years? Are they still gonna be there? What happens if they die? What happens if I die? Does it change the dynamic now I've acted on this shit, and this person is no longer in my life or in my afterlife. What the fuck was I doing it for? Instead of learning my damn self. You get what I mean?
You sound like you in your head a lot of times. How are you taking care of that space? Like, because with all these mental health issues that are being spoken about right now, and it's difficult being a young black man or being a man or being a human. Now
Or
when
a
you start,
human man.
yeah, yeah. Well, so how are you taking care of that? Like,
That's actually such a great question, man. And I wish most people would ask these questions to people. You know what I mean? For me, if you had asked me this 4 years ago, I would tell you I'm just trying to learn myself in pieces to protect myself from all the deep thoughts or whatever. Right now, I'll tell you, I, I swim in my mind, man. Like that's how I protect myself. I spend time just swimming and diving in my head, and because I realized how beautiful it is. Because in what I used to think was a lot of pain and depression and all that stuff, it was just ideas of how do you help people and how do you help yourself, and it became a situation where it's just like, first of all, I can't help everyone, but those who I can, they appreciate it. So therefore, let me just continue swimming on it.
mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So I think for anyone who's genuinely struggling with like depression or their mental well-being or
mm,
whatever, me personally, I would encourage you to stop running away from your thoughts, to stop running away from everything. Maybe don't act on your thoughts or whatever because they're still raw.
mm,
You know what I mean? Because it's still a part of you that's trying to scream at you to recognize it.
mm,
And I'd say dive deeper and listen. That's it. Don't listen to act, but just listen to the inner self, the inner you, and how you want, and how the you that you've been hiding or that you've been trying to shelter or protect or whatever is trying to speak to you. You know
mm,
what I mean?
First,
Yeah.
iy'ntwana lapha kade zikubukile mfethu.
No, I mean,
Now they want to know ukuthi how do they get a hold of you? Utholakala kanjani?
email. You talking about social media?
Everything, bro.
They can search
Everything.
Ufezekile, but like, man, my life. If you're gonna look at my life, go for it. Get such answer, bro. So
But honestly,
email. Like, if
like
you
the
want to
kids,
converse,
yeah.
email. Just email the company. That I'm always on the emails. That's actually where I'm always chatting. So honestdecibels at gmail.com. That's the one that I really chat on the most. But if it's formal business shit that you want to bring, then you can email the company admin at honestdecibels.com.
Bazoyibhala.
Yeah.
okay.
Bazoyibhala.
So
Otherwise, social media, you can just say Ufezekile and
Sure.
yeah, see what pops up wherever. I don't know any of that shit, bro.
okay, now let's get to this. Like South Coast top five,
What?
top five rappers.
Rappers?
Yeah,
Okay.
your top five.
Hmm. Okay. Personal preference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You guys aren't gonna hate on me for this.
Mm,
no,
unless.
Okay. Okay. Myself?
Sure.
okay,
Hi, hi.
Not
no,
allowed.
no, no, you're not allowed.
Okay.
Stay out of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's this
who
nigga called
coached you? Oh,
Ufezekile.
who coached you?
No, 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 no.
Okay, cool. I've got Kaz there.
Yeah.
Um, I like your shit. I actually like your shit.
Salute, salute.
Cause
Aware?
Okay.
I need to delve deep again. I was too young, but I'll put you there. Cause I'll put you there, but I need to delve
Word,
deep again.
word. Kodwa
Snake actually is a rapper, dog. Like you
Oh
guys,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I
Yeah,
heard you
No, I've
guys
heard Snake.
chatting like about him as a producer. I was just like, yo, guys, like Snake can fucking write hooks and rap. Like it's just like,
God, I look like a snake.
yeah,
Yeah.
dog. Snake, Snake is in that top five. Fuck it, like I appreciate like his craft.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah.
Number five, it will be shared between my little brother because he's on some other shit right now.
Oh yeah.
Yo, like some
What's his name?
drill.
What's his name? We want to hear it.
Sha. Yeah, just
Okay.
search Sha dot Dumisa. Like, yeah,
Some
he's
search and buy the course.
Usha. It's Sha. Like, he's on some other shit, and it's a split between him and there's that other. Please forgive me, dog. Like we've never met, but I respect your bars. There's the other guy with the British accent that's
Fix.
Fix.
Yeah.
I like him. I like him.
He's dope.
Like he's butter.
He's
like,
dope.
Yeah.
He's
Like
dope.
he's butter. Like yo,
dope.
Fix, forgive me, man. Like for not knowing your name, but like
Yeah.
yeah, you butter boy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Shout out.
you
Shout
butter
out.
boy.
Shout out.
Yeah, that's my top 5 rappers. If you want to know producers, it's Snake Beats, it's Rico, Soundboy, it's Gray,
Mhm.
Maviano, and Snake Beats.
Sure.
Snake gets
Twice.
3 slots in
Yeah.
the whole top
Twice.
5.
Ngabheke
Five
labo bantu.
Okay.
Those
Yo,
are really
guys,
hot
Snake is the
producers, bro.
future. Like
Yeah.
I'm not even.
Yeah.
like,
yeah,
Snake is
yeah.
the future.
Our Snake is
Yeah.
on something
Yeah.
else, bro. I heard him on Nama Sounds Up Blizzard. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy, bro.
Snake is
Now let's get to the rapping so we can get out of here.
what
Like you gotta leave us a little something.
stay working, even if you got to put in the work in.
Mhm.
You know, forget about the Birkins.
Mm.
You got to get your hands in the dirt and.
Mm.
I'm just joking around with these bars, by the way. These are not real bars,
Okay.
guys. I don't want people to
okay.
like. You
I was
gotta
gonna
pay.
follow the flow,
No,
like,
no,
okay,
no.
okay.
You gotta pay for my.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
you can no.
Hey man, you got songs out. Drop
I
us
do
a
have- I
verse
do-
from there.
No.
Like, or something. Like
No.
yeah.
No.
Asphumi.
What do you mean? Nah,
Asphumi.
dog. Like,
Guys,
guys, if I rap it now, I rap it now, then what's stopping people from not streaming it? Go stream it. If you want to know exactly how I rap,
Man.
go stream it. Dog, me, I'm an exec. Like you gotta
Okay.
understand one thing. I'm not.
Okay, Shug
That's
Nice.
all. That's all.
I will not be bullied. I've spent a good hour and some change saying I'm not going. Like I don't fit in and all that stuff. I'm not gonna be peer pressured. Nah.
Aight. Okay.
But my
Fez,
bars
bro.
are sick. Go check it out. Ufezekile.
Okay.
Sure.
Let's
Fez,
sign out. What
been
you gotta
good.
say?
Guys, I
Yeah.
hella appreciate what you guys are
Appreciate
doing for the
you
coast.
coming through, man.
For the coast, like
Thank
this
you,
is
dog.
really,
Thank
really
you,
big.
bro. Thank you, dog.
I like
Word
the
up,
setup.
word up. Right, so look, see,
Shout out to level 10.
level 10. That's how 10 number
Yeah.
level. Sanga Kupo was
Yeah.
on. So yeah, it's
Top
good,
floor.
man. Yeah, we out.
This is how you raise the bar.
You plug in with the man in charge. That's something you don't sabotage.
This is how you raise the bar.
Raise the roof like a demigod. Keep making your moves while the devil's watch.
This is how you raise the bar.
Don't build your label on a deck of cards, claiming you stable but don't affect the charts. This is how you raise the bar. We ain't phased by y'all. Straight talk, we don't fake for the fades of heart.